It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, our goal for today, as you already saw, is I can solve real-world problems using proportions. So it's going to be story problems where you need to use a proportion to help you solve them. But Miss Clover, what if I can solve them without using a proportion? We want you to set up a proportion, so please do that. Make sure that you have your proportion notes out in front of you with your 3 strategies on how to solve proportions, and also a calculator. Lastly, I am going to, in this video, go through 2 problems on your homework assignment. So if your homework assignment has not already been passed out to you, let's pause the video here and let's pass out the Proportional Reasoning Worksheet 1. That is your homework assignment. And as I mentioned, I'm going to go over 2 problems on that. So have that out next to you right now. And please work hard with me today. I appreciate your motivation, and I hope that you had a fantastic week off. All right, here we go. So problem 1 on your homework assignment says Sam raked 3 bags of leaves in 16 minutes. If he continues to work at the same rate, about how long will it take him to rake 5 bags? Now, when we did story problems not too long ago, we used an Avid strategy called marking the text. So I'm going to model that this time as well. So first, let's box in what we're being asked to find. And our question is about how long will it take him to rake 5 bags? Next, let's underline numbers that are going to be important in this problem. So since this is a proportion problem, there's relationships going on. It says Sam raked 3 bags of leaves in 16 minutes. That 3 bags of leaves goes with the 16 minutes. So there's actually my first ratio. If he continues to work at the same rate, about how long will it take him to rake 5 bags? And we need to figure out how long, so that's our time piece. And the other important part here is going to be 5 bags. There is a key operation word, but it's one we really haven't seen before, and it's rate. And rate is a special type of ratio, and we're going to learn about that pretty soon here. So let's actually set up our proportion with our labels. So we have 3 bags, and I'm going to write bags there. We have 3 bags of leaves in 16, and I'm going to write minutes. And now remember, proportions involve ratios, and a proportion is set up appropriately when our labels are set up appropriately as well. That means we would have like labels across from each other. So I have my first ratio, 3 bags of leaves for every 16 minutes. Now I'm going to set up my other one. It says if he continues to work at that exact same rate, where it's 3 bags every 16 minutes, about how long will it take him to rake 5 bags? Now where would 5 bags go? It would go right on top here because I have bags and I want to have bags across. So let's write 5 bags. Do this with me. And then it says about how long will it take him? Do we know how long it's going to take him to rake 5 bags? No, so that is my question mark or my variable. Remember, a variable stands for an unknown. And now we're solving a proportion. We have our labels lined up appropriately. Minutes it says down here, and we can actually already write this down here too, 6th graders. This value is going to be labeled in minutes, correct? Yes. So now, do you see how you're going from 3 bags to 5 bags? Can we use strategy 1 for solving proportions where we could multiply or divide? In this case, it would be multiply by something since we're getting to a larger value here. I don't see that. So can we simplify 3 to 16? That would be strategy 2. No, the only factor 3 and 16 share would be 1. So do you remember what strategy we learned before our Thanksgiving break? We're going to unsimplify the known ratio using the value in the unknown ratio. So let's do that now together. So we're going to multiply this by 5, multiply this by 5, and I'm going to set up my new proportion here. Still, everything is going to be equivalent, so I would have 15 bags for every 16 times 5 would be 80, correct? Every 80 minutes. At that rate, how long will it take me to rake 5 bags? And my unknown is still my minutes. So now, do you see how you're going from this ratio to this ratio? I would be dividing by 3. So go ahead. Now we have to always show how we're going up or down proportionally. In this case, we're going down. We need to take 80 and divide it by 3. So go ahead and do that. You may use your calculator if you would like. When I went 80 and divided it by 3 on my calculator, I got 26.6666666, and then my calculator rounded the last digit up to a 7. And remember, that's your calculator rounding that repeating decimal, since your calculator screen can't go on for forever. So I get my answer to be 26.6, and that 6 repeats, correct? So I want to put my notation bar over it, and my label would be minutes. Now, if you look at your directions, it says round to the nearest whole, right? So the whole number place in my answer would be right here, right? Because this would be the ones place. So I want to round my answer of 26.6 repeating minutes to the nearest whole. So I'm going to underline the digit I want to round, and I'm going to look next door. 5 or above, give me a shove. 4 or below, keep it down low. So I'm going to shove 6 up by 1. What would that be? 7. So I'm going to round my final answer to about 27 minutes. And that you can put in your solution box. That's my unknown. The last problem we're going to do together, again, comes from our homework assignment, so go ahead and flip to it. Still really helpful to have your proportion Cornell notes out so we can remind ourselves of the 3 strategies. This one, I believe, is on the back, and it's problem 6. It says the Jelly Junior High school color is made by mixing red paint with yellow paint. The ratio of red to yellow is 3 to 5. How much red paint should be mixed in 20 ounces of yellow? So let's start by marking the text together. First, boxing in what we're being asked to find. We're being asked to find how much red paint needs to be mixed with 20 ounces of yellow. What information is important above? So we have the ratio of red to yellow is 3 to 5. And I'm actually underlining red to yellow here as well because this 3 to 5 isn't labeled. Since the 3 comes first and the red comes first, this 3 represents 3 ounces of red. Since the yellow comes second, this 5 represents 5 ounces of red. So that's why I chose to underline all of that. The other part that's being related comes from my question. It says how much red paint should be mixed in 20 ounces of yellow. So my 20 ounces of yellow. And then my question mark is going to be how much red. The red is being related to the yellow there. Is there a key operation word? Well, there kind of is and there kind of isn't. The one that stands out to me is the ratio, so I know right away that my relationship is going to be helpful in how I solve this. And remember, 6th graders, when it comes to marking the text, sometimes the key operation word isn't very clear, and it's okay if you can't find anything to circle. Know, though, that all these problems we're doing right now are proportional reasoning problems, so you're going to want to set up a proportion. All right, so let's go ahead and let's set up that proportion right now. So we're given 3 to 5. Let's write that down. 3 is being related to 5. And remember, we want to include our labels. This 3, since it comes first, refers to my red paint, and this 5, since it comes second, refers to my yellow. And you can abbreviate your labels however you would like. So now it says how much red paint, so that's my question mark. And I want to label this red. Should be mixed with 20 ounces of yellow. This right here is my 20, and it's 20 ounces of yellow. And notice that I left off the unit ounces. I didn't find that necessary to fill in here. But careful, don't go, oh, well, you know what? I don't see ounces above here anywhere, so what? Remember, this is the ratio of red to yellow. So it naturally, since you're seeing ounces down here, these would also be in ounces up here, okay? All right, so let's start with solving. Do you see how you're going from your known ratio, so your known ratio right here, so let's start with the 5. Do you see how you're going from the 5 to the 20? Yeah, yay, we get to use strategy 1. We're multiplying. So 5 to 20, I would multiply by 4, showing my proportionality. Whatever I'm doing to the bottom, I need to do to the top. 3 times 4 is 12. So my answer here would be 12. And we can even write 12, how much red paint? 12 ounces of red. And that's what you will write in your solution box. All right, so as you continue to move forward on your own, here are some key things that I want you to remember. Mark the text. And since you know all of these problems are going to be proportional reasoning problems, you know you're going to be setting a proportion, underline what's being related. Those are our important numbers. And again, if you can't find a key operation word, that's okay. Don't worry about that too much because you already know that these are all going to be proportion problems. One big final reminder when it comes to story problems with proportions, we want to make sure, 6th graders, that we include our labels and that our like labels are always across from each other. Okay? Our answer as well should also have a label with it. If you forget to label, it will be incorrect because it's such an important skill, and that's what makes a proportion a proportion. If our labels are all jumbled up, the proportion wouldn't necessarily be true. So we need to make sure that our proportion has our like labels across from one another, okay? And that we're relating the correct pieces. All right, do your best work, show all your work, and you may use a calculator.